It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. And today we're having a very special guest who has been willing to come forward and explain her experience of when her child was kidnapped and what happened to her in her younger years. So let me bring Gwen on. Hi, Gwen.
Hello. Hi. Hey, everybody needs to know it's Gail's birthday today.
Just don't ask
Happy
me how
birthday.
old I am. No. Oh, thank you. Anyway, Gwen, you have quite a story to tell. Your little girl was kidnapped many years ago, and I can't imagine the horror that you must have went through during that time. Why don't you go ahead and tell us your story?
It was very painful, and when I saw The Sound of Freedom, I knew I needed to come out and talk about my daughter's story. As I watched those children cry and what they went through, it was very emotional for me to watch that.
And another reason why I was happy to bring you on, Gwen, was because as great as that movie is as an introduction to people about child sex trafficking, it doesn't really, it makes it seem like it's not in the United States, and it's very much in the United States. I do have YouTube channels on. I don't know if they'll take us down for this, but it's okay. People need to know this kind of thing. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue with your story.
Oh, it's okay.
Continue with your story.
This was in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is where this happened, in the Rose Park area, which is not a real good area, but it was back in 1986, and I had divorced my husband because it was really hard living with him. He was a Vietnam veteran and had a lot of problems with PTSD, flashbacks, dreams, and he did crazy things. So it was hard. I didn't want the children around, all that. And he suffered a lot, and he was brain fractured and from the war. So anyway, I decided to move to the Rose Park area. It's not a real good area of Salt Lake City, but it was a triplex, and I really liked it. And it was a really nice, apartment building, and I had enough for my kids. And then later on, a lady that I met in the women's shelter, she had 2 kids, so she moved in with me, and everything was fine. And we would go out, and I thought she was doing weird stuff. She would wear gold and silver headdresses, silver, and they tingled with tingles and strings coming down that were gold. And I thought that was really strange. And anyway, she would bring over people that were gay. I'm not against gay people at all. It's just that my niece is gay and I love her. But things started happening, and I would see weird things carved on my neck, upside down crosses. And that really bothered me. So she left the apartment and went away with her 2 kids.
May I ask you something?
Anyway,
how would somebody carve
yes.
something on your neck without you being aware of it?
Give you one of those date drugs.
Okay. I just had to bring that up because people might be thinking that, and I just want them, I knew that already.
No. I have something else to say. I went to a club once. It's about the time when the Utah Jazz were playing, and they were there, but there was a lady that in back of the bar, and I knew her because she was working in Barbizon modeling, and I quit because they wanted her to wear bikinis, and she was 12 years old. I'm not doing that. So then I wake up in the morning with this man that I knew who he was, but I never met him. Anyway, I wake up in the morning and I don't know how I got with him, and I just assumed that she put that date rape drug in my coat. And so he told me, I was dressed, by the way, and he told me, well, I have fixed people's brakes. So when when the man went down Parley's Canyon and he went off the hill and he died, he was trying to threaten me and make me scared, but finally he just took me home. So I know that to be true, and I experienced it myself. So anyway, in this apartment, I would work in the apartment, and I would clean up the apartments. They were building new ones across the street, so I would do that. And then I came back from working. My little girl ran up to me, and she put her.
Whoa, we lost Gwen there. What happened? What happened to you? You must have hit something.
Yeah, whatever. But she was having a really hard time. She was shaking. I said, "What's the matter with you?" And she goes, "Mom, some boys in the neighborhood beat me up." I go, "Who are these boys?" She said, "Mom, I don't know who they were. I have no idea who they were." So I gave her a bath, and I saw she had fists of bruises that were someone had punched her back like this. Big one. She had about 10 of them on her back. And then when I looked at her, I was washing her hair. She had a chunk of hair that was pulled out of her head to the scalp. So anyway, I called the police, and they came over, and I told them what happened. I showed them the bruises, and I showed them her hair being pulled out, and they said, "Well, unless you know who these boys are, we can't do anything about it." I said, "That's crazy. You need to have someone watch our house." But I told my husband about that, so he would park outside at night, protecting us to make sure we were safe. And then it was time for my daughter and my son, my other kids, to go to school. So my daughter had just turned 5, and she was going to go to kindergarten, and my son was going to be in first grade, and the other kids were in junior high. So I said, "I'm going to take you to the bus," because the bus was coming right in front of our apartment. So I took them to the bus, and as soon as they came back, I was there to pick them up. They come in the house, and my daughter goes, "Mom, I know where I was taken." I said, "What, you do?" She said, "Yes." As I drove by in the bus, I saw the house on the way and the house on the way back. And Mom, I know where I was taken. I go, "Can you tell me about what happened to you?" She says, "Yes." She said, "Mom, I was sitting on the porch waiting for you to come back from work. And there was this car that drove up, and it was a white car with red stripes on it. He came up to the porch. He grabbed me by the arm. He said, 'Don't scream or I'll kill you and your mom.'" So anyway, so he put her in the car. He blindfolded her, and he took her to his apartment. To his house. And he put her in the house, took her in the house. He unblindfolded her to take her in the house, but she said they were on some kind of bed where he was beating her, pulling her hair, touching her in places she didn't want to be touched. And I don't know if you're sure how long this went on, but she says he leaves the bed, he goes into the kitchen. So she gets under the bed, and she sees him. She says, "Mom, he picked up a big red knife." She knew exactly what it was and that it was red. She could see the front door from under the bed. She ran and got out of the house, and she was running down the street. And some couple in the neighborhood knew who she was, picked her up and brought her home. So shortly after I got done working, that's when she came and told me about this, but anyway. And so I said, "Honey, can you tell me where the house is?" And she said, "Yes, I will tell you where the house is." So we drove by, And it was in the middle of the block. It was 3 blocks away from our house.
Oh my God.
And so it was a red brick house with the car was there, the white car was there with the red stripes, and there was a truck there. So, I called up the detectives and they came over, and they told me, well, she's too young to testify. I go, what do you mean? She can identify the house and the car, and she can identify the kidnapper. So what's the problem? Well, this is an ongoing investigation. I go, what do you mean? Ongoing investigation. I just called you. And he said, well, there's a little boy in the neighborhood that his grandmother lived across the street, and some man in a truck tried to take him, but he got away. I said, well, they're not real good about keeping their kids. That's good. And so what happened was I saw the truck. I said, I saw the truck. And she can identify, and the boy can identify, but, it's still not good enough. It's like the police.
It's like they were part of it.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
not that particular incident, but they're okay with that happening to children.
Yeah, they are. They are. So anyway, so after that, I'm in the store with my daughter because I take her with me everywhere. We were walking along the aisle, and she was walking along by the basket, and all of a sudden she jumps in the basket, sits in the kid's seat, puts her arms around me, and she says, Mom, I love you so. I go, I love you too, honey, too. And I felt this evil in the back of my head. I mean, I can feel it right now. I can manifest that evil feeling. I can feel it. And then I saw this man, and he was about 160 pounds, and he looked to be Iranian or Iraqi, some kind of, person like that, staring at me, giving me my most evil eye. Yeah, so we get home, and she says, Mom, man, that took me. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have known. I would have called the police or had someone attack him. I would have attacked him if I knew it was him, because that's how I am. But anyway,
yeah.
So it was a couple of nights later, I heard that a man had been found dead in a 7-Eleven dumpster. And so I didn't think anything of it. But a few days later, I don't exactly know the time frame because it was a long time ago, but I get a knock at the door, and there is Michael Rawson from Channel 2 News, and I knew who he was because I recognized him. So I let him in. He says, I understand your daughter was kidnapped. I go, yes, she was. And he wanted to know where the house was. I said, yeah, I know where it is. I gave him the address. I don't know what he thought he was doing by going over to their house to talk to them. Because the detective told me there's 5 men that lived in that house. 5. And so I looked at, he went there to the house, and he was gone about 30 minutes. He comes back with this note in his hand. I look at it. He hands it to me, and he says, they want you to call them. I go, what? They want me to call them? Really?
What?
Yeah. I thought, what in the hell do they want me to call them for? People that have something to do with my daughter's kidnapping. So I put the paper down. I said, well, I'll think about it. So then the next day I looked at the paper, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to call him. I did. So I called up the number, and this man is dead, by the way. Now he died in 2019 because I researched him. And I called the number, and the number went right to Donald Dalton, attorney in Salt Lake City. And he answered the phone, Donald Dalton, and can I help you? And I said, yeah, I want to tell you about what happened in that house because I have your number to call you. So you're going to hear it. And so I told him everything that happened to my daughter in the house. Guess what he did? He starts to cry. I go, what the hell? He's crying? He's crying. Is he crying because my daughter was hurt in that house? Or is he crying for some other reason? I didn't know. So anyway, I called the detective up too. And I told him, I said, look, I've been in contact with the people in the house. And
I thought that was the house
And
that you talked to an attorney, but I thought that was the house that kidnapped your daughter. I'm confused.
that was the number that was given to me was the attorney's office in Salt Lake City that Michael Rawson got from that house when he went over there. They're the ones that gave him the number for me to call this attorney. So he knew something about this or something. He had to know. You know what?
Oh,
Figure that one out. That is weird. So anyway, I tell the detective, I says, look, this has gone on way too long, and I'm really tired of this happening. And we're scared, and my daughter's having dreams, and I'm having dreams that my daughter is in the windowsill dead. I said, we can't handle this anymore. We just can't handle it. This is too much. He goes, well, you know, this was 2 weeks later after Michael Rawson went to the house, or maybe it was 3, I don't know, but he says, well, we're not going to arrest that man. I go, oh, yeah, I know what he looks like. She knows what he looks like. That little boy knows what he looks like. Other children know what he looks like. So what is the problem? He goes, because the man is dead. I go, what? He's dead? What happened to him? And he said, well, he was castrated. His throat was slit, and he was thrown in the 7-Eleven dumpster, case closed.
Whoa.
I said, what? I said, who did it? Oh, we have no idea who did it. I thought, well, I said, you know what? He deserved what he got. Everything he got, he deserves. Because I know, besides my little girl and that little boy and other children, he's hurt other children too. So this is the story of my daughter. And then my niece was in California, and she was at a park, and she was having her birthday party, and she was like 6 years old, and they're all very, very excited, and then all of a sudden she's gone, right? She's gone.
Oh my God.
So then she's gone, and they're looking frantically for her, and her brother, I think it was her brother, saw her walking down the street holding a girl's hand.
A girl's hand. A woman's hand.
This is what they do. They send other children in they kidnap and they torture, and they send them in to kidnap other children. This is what they do.
So they get a small child about the same age or something that they've already got under their possession, I should say. And so they send that child, tell them that they got to go get that other child and bring them back here, or they probably threaten them if they don't do it. So that's how they get other kids in. Wow. See, this is the kind of thing that people need to know about so that you can watch your children like a hawk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. But you have to. You can't just send them to their house.
That's terrible.
You have to go with them. You have to go pick them up. You have to bring them home. You cannot leave them alone in a park or anywhere. I mean, they go in your house. Look, they stole Elizabeth Smart, that David Mitchell, and Wanda Barzey from her house, and she was gone for 9 months, and all the hell that she went through. And I don't know if this is true, but the grapevine is that Smart guy is gay, and there's a lot of gay pedophilia in the church. So I don't know if that's true. This, just strike that or whatever. But and so yeah, she was found 9 months later by Troy Rasmussen, who I knew him. He was a really good cop, and his wife worked for me in the salon that I managed. And he found her right across the street the day we were there. Found her walking along the road in those white garments with David Mitchell and Wanda Barzey, and he's the one that found her. And Rachel Runyon was kidnapped from her bedroom too, and they found her 3 weeks later, and her body was decomposed, and they think there was some kind of ritual.
That's what they do with children. They do different ritual type things, and they make them do things that are horrible. Excuse me.
Yeah, they do.
Sorry, I should have.
Oh, it's okay. My phone's without a SIM card, so mine's not going to ring right now.
Okay, let me.
I just want everybody to know this is real. This is so real. And it happens every day. And 800,000 children go missing every year. And around the world, about 3 million children go missing. It's real. People, you got to understand this is not a conspiracy. It's real. It's not a made up thing. I put TikTok videos about missing children. I hardly get any likes on it. Like people, they're not getting, some of them just are not getting it.
No, they're not getting it. And that's the only thing that is disturbing about the whole thing is a lot of people were moved by the sound of freedom. But again, I still think it kind of makes it look like it's not happening here. It's someplace else. And it's definitely happened here. In fact, this is one of the worst places ever. The United States.
Yeah, in Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City, yes. I've heard many and read many things about what goes on underground in Salt Lake City. And it's tied to a church there as well, from what I understand. But we won't go into that in any depth. So, but you have, now, was it your daughter or some other child that drew pictures of
my grandchild?
Your grandchild? Wow.
Okay, my family has been rich. My family has been from Germany, the Illuminati from Germany, the Bavarian Illuminati. Okay, I'm related to all the prophets, the apostles. Things that's happened to my family is generational.
Wow, okay. You froze when you said that. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. We're having some audio issues right now.
They don't like what I'm saying, probably.
No, exactly. Because what happened was when you said where you were from in Germany, you got blanked out. You said,
yeah. Well, I'm not from Germany. My family is.
Yeah, I know. And you said something about the Illuminati, right?
Yeah,
Bavarian.
And my family, my family has no idea that what's going on. So they have no clue. And they're not awake, and they think I'm crazy. So, so be it. But they're going to find out one day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have pretty much the same thing going on in my family. I've always been the black sheep, and now I'm the conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
I just changed titles, but that's okay. That's okay. They'll find out in the long run.
Maybe you can show the pictures my granddaughter drew.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring them up. Why don't you talk a little bit about it while I find it?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, my granddaughter was at school, and they had these journals, and they were drawing pictures and different pictures of stories that they had been through. So my granddaughter drew these pictures that she's going to show, and you can see it by the pictures. I won't say what it is.
Okay, hang on 1 second.
What it is. Okay.
Let me bring this up, and then I'm going to scroll through them as best I can. Okay. So first I have to share my screen.
Okay.
And pick, let's see. I hope that's the right one. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is a picture. Are you able to see that okay?
Yes, it's a picture she drew of herself shooting two children with their heads exploding. And this is before, and then she puts after nothing happened, after nothing. Wow. So this is what she's showing. So the other one might explain. Let me see more.
This one?
Okay, the one the one here, the one right here, as you can see, she shows herself real man. And she's upset, and with that picture myself. So
interesting. With the faces around the man's head, around the child. Is that what you're referring to?
Men around. Just
oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know what they probably did. That's horrific.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I got. Ugh. Children drew this.
Okay.
Wow.
That other picture, it was a little clearer, but
I don't know how to make it, how to,
it's
yeah.
clear. This is
You
a baby
have
right
almost
here.
no,
This is a child. This
Gwen,
is that's okay. HTCs.
Gwen, we have a problem. We can barely hear you. Your internet
After
connection.
the child on the left. Yes. Are you there?
Your internet.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little better. Just keep talking. You were talking about it and you were totally breaking up the whole time. So we couldn't really understand what you were saying. You only have 2 bars on your network connection. You have 3 out of 10 bars. So that's part of it is your internet connection, apparently. Can you hear me? See, they don't like us talking about this kind of thing. But it certainly is obvious from those pictures what's going on, because they do some terrible things. And so I think Gwen just went out, and hopefully she'll come back in, and that will improve the reception here. Otherwise, I don't know what else we can do, but basically we have dead, what looks like dead children and knives and then dismembered. So I'm not sure what that means, but these are pictures of children that have been abducted at one time or another. And this is how they draw pictures of what happened. There. Are you back now?
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah, my internet went down. I had to connect it back up.
Okay. Yeah, because we were losing you. I did change the one picture. The other picture, I think it's kind of obvious what's on that
Yeah.
picture.
But,
Basically, it's like, what's this picture represent? Do you know?
Well, we know what it represents.
And yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now that's her sister Ellie.
Oops, that's
and then, yeah, the last one was her sister Ellie. She shows that she's dead.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed she puts X's in the eyes when they're not alive. Okay.
Yeah, then she shows a and this is that one picture. Yeah.
I guess I have to go back. Let me stop sharing and get the other pictures.
And then she shows a family with her, only with her and her mom. No, she and her sister aren't in her. And she shows one with her mom and dad, the baby and a brother. But there's no baby. There's no other baby.
Oh, here's another picture. I didn't get this one in, so let me bring this one up. I don't know, because of the way that they're the order that they're in. I can't just scroll right through them as easily as I'd like to. But here we go. We're back. Now, these are interesting. Do you have any idea what's being portrayed here? Fighting in their sleep. None.
Anything, but if you guys can see it, that's fine.
Oh, you can't see it at all?
There's the other dark, the sayings. Yeah, I can see it. I know what all these sayings are in these pictures, but every picture she shows how dark she is feeling and what she's written in these pictures. Someone needs to analyze them. If maybe Jenny could analyze these. I don't know what all that she's trying to say in these pictures.
Mm-hmm. Wow. But now she's okay, and she's an adult at this point in time, correct? Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? Hello? Are you still there? Gwen, you're frozen again. Oh, they don't like us sharing this stuff, that's for sure. But I tell you what, I'm going to put the word out. If if there are other mothers or parents out there who would like to share their story, get in touch with me, and we'll see what we can do. Gwen, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to tell her that she's frozen. Okay, she went out again. I don't know. We may not be able to continue this. I don't know why we're having, well, I do know why. They don't want people to know this. This happens in the United States. This stuff is hidden. So many people are involved. It's unbelievable. You know, all the way. The very people that you think would be there to help are frequently involved. The very people that you might turn to could very easily be involved. Anywhere from law enforcement to churches and other societal groups that are secret and so on and so forth. Anyway, this is a horrific thing that happens. And I hope I can hear you now. They have cut off your audio.
Yeah, I'm back on my internet.
Okay.
Oh, they don't want me to talk.
I can tell.
They don't want me to say anymore. So you just keep talking because I just want to know I've had things happen to me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. So and so others. You got the full 4
When I was a little girl too, I was kidnapped. I was taken underneath the Salt Lake Temple. I was supposed to be sacrificed. There were 6 men around me on this table. 6 men, just like my granddaughter talks about. And they set me on this table, okay? And then I saw an angel at the end of the table. And he whispered to the man that was closest to the right by the door. He said, "You cannot do this to her." And I was saved, but not saved from a lot of other stuff. So
wow,
that's what happened to me too. So these things are happening, and I don't care. I don't care if people don't believe me or not, because I know what I'm saying is true.
It happens to a lot of people, and it happens to a lot of children. And that's why people need to be on alert 24/7 with their children, especially now, because a lot of food sources are being cut off. And I hate to use that word, but it can go that far. Being cut off. And so I think the likelihood of that happening has increased some, because they're going to be desperate. They're just going to grab anybody they can and run. So I'm just, one of the reasons I'm doing this is to let people and parents know, mothers especially, keep your eyes on your children 24/7. Do not allow them to go anywhere with anyone else unless they have your permission first. And you know the person, because look at how they got that one other girl. Just like you said, they have another child go get her. I mean,
well, exactly.
That's
Can I say something else too?
Oh, sure, please do.
My niece worked for Tim Ballard for Underground Railroad. What her job was, she was in charge of all the children, okay? What her job was, as they were bringing the children out from under Getty Museum, some of them went to the Hope Ship. And some of them she was able to take them and place them with homes. That is real. And I also listened to Tim Ballard last summer speaking in a park in Salt Lake City. And he was talking about how he's in Ukraine, taking the children out of the tunnels and saving them there.
So, and this is the very thing that we want people to be aware of, because it's happening. Mm-hmm. And we want it to stop happening.
We do. I don't want anything to happen to any other children. It breaks my heart.
It is. It's absolutely heartbreaking to think the horrific things that they do. And it's all very satanic.
Hmm.
And
I think that lady that lived with me, I think she had something to do with my daughter's kidnapping too. I really do.
I wouldn't doubt it. And I've noticed, and this is so hard for me to really believe, a lot of times, I mean, even in the movie Sound of Freedom, who lures them in? Another woman.
Hmm.
How dare
Yeah,
you? What kind of mother would do that? Obviously, not a good one. um,
yeah,
wow. Maybe they're not a mother at that point in time. But here's the problem, it always involves money. So they pay those people well to kidnap your children.
yeah, they do.
And that's disgusting that
And
somebody
there's
would
a
do
lot of
that.
women do it. Yeah, a lot of women do it.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
horrific. Um, well, what else might you tell us about the? I think it looked like some kind of. They have children sit in a circle or on a star, and then they have the children. They make the children do evil things.
Yeah, I don't know, but when I sat around, there were 6 men around me, and there's 6 men around her. Yeah, I think a lot of the same thing was happening. I think they also use too. That's just what I feel. I don't know if they do
They
that
do
or
what?
not.
What was that? I didn't
They
understand what
use
you said.
holograms. They use holograms also to scare the children.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it one bit. Yeah, because getting them scared is what they want to do to drive up the adrenochrome. Oh, I don't know if I
Well,
can say that.
yeah, she thinks she's a werewolf. She told me she's a werewolf. I said, "You are not a werewolf." And these things, I said, these things that you drew about, I didn't talk to her much about them. I just said, "Look, you're not that person." I did say, they used holograms. I don't believe everything you think is real. But I haven't really talked to her. And my friend says, don't talk to her about it yet because she's not quite old enough to understand it. She's a twin. Okay, I'm going to tell you about her twin, okay? Now,
Okay.
you know Megan Rose, right?
Yeah.
You know who Megan Rose is. Well, I get a
Yes, I do.
story. It was about when my granddaughter was 6 years old. She told me she doesn't tell her family anything because they don't get it. So she tells me, Grandma, I saw 2 ETs in my bedroom. I go, what? I didn't think much of it. And then it was about, she's a 10 now. They just turned 11. And she told me, Mom, she said, Grandma, I've had 4 dreams that seemed real, but this one dream was so real to me. And I said, what was it? She said, well, I was in my bedroom and all of a sudden I was not there. I was in a room and I saw these 2 gray aliens. She told me they're gray. And I told her I showed her pictures of them. She goes, yeah, that's what they looked like, Grandma. And she says, and I was sitting in this room and I was sitting on the floor, scratched like this. And she said, one of them sprayed something in my eyes. And she said it looked like a web. And then she says, 2 humans came with guns and shot the grays and took her back to her room.
Wow.
Yeah. So see, those things happen. I've had dealings with them too, but I'm not going in that with that.
I have had other people that I've talked to that told me stories about grays being in their little grays being in their room, or they're seeing them and being scared by them, or who knows what they do. I mean, they can, like you said, spray something on them and knock them back out or do whatever.
Yeah. Do you
Who
know how I
knows?
found out with remote viewing who the ones?
You froze again. I don't mean to laugh, but they don't like us. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna get. I hope I don't get strikes on YouTube, but I could. I don't care though. That's too important. And you might want to go out and come back in again, Gwen, because you're totally frozen, even though you have full 4 bars. So I I don't know if you want to go out and come back in again. I might suggest that. Otherwise, I will end the show for now. There she goes. I'll see if she comes back in. It's obviously they don't like hearing about this sort of thing. I don't know what's happening. Now I can't hear you. No sound. I see you talking, but I can't hear a word you're saying. We might have to end it here, and I don't know what else to do. I mean, pretty much got most of your story out. We could have talked some more, but they don't like what you're talking about. You've got 4 full bars right now, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be hearing you. So anyway, I can't hear anything. And you're not muted. You're not muted, are you? No. They muted you. Okay. We'll talk again. We'll talk again. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We did this to try to make you aware that this type of thing happens right here in the United States. And you need to keep your eye on your children, because you don't want what could happen to them to happen to them. So also, don't post your pictures on Facebook of your children. That is very dangerous to do, because that sends some of the things I've heard about how they target people is unbelievable. So you really, really, really have to be on top of your game and watch out for these kinds of things, because they're after the kids. They really are. So thank you so much, Gwen, for being willing to be courageous and come forward with your story. We'll talk again soon. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, fighting our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the story